Hello, Regis and Rosina. Welcome back. Okay, so first thing is first, I am sorry for my long departure. It was a much needed rest from kind of just like the stuff that I kind of don't have to do. I don't know how that sounds. Like, I enjoy doing this, but like I have to go to work, I have to go to school, I have to do a bunch of other stuff, and this is one of those like things that I choose to do. So I kind of took a break from that. If you follow me on any of my reading platforms listed down below, you'll see that I've also been pretty absent from there too. So I do apologize for that. And I also apologize for the way that I'm possibly looking. I got off of work a few hours ago. I have no idea what what I look like. I just decided to film because I really want to film, and I want to clear up some space over here and get these books off. So this is going to be March wrap up and April TBR. Oh my goodness, these months are just moving too quickly for my liking. I don't like it, but let's get into it. 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph. This is a mystery thriller, YA, and it follows a young girl named Jess who gets landed a spot, who lands a spot, dear Lord. I also, it just blanked on the word. But full disclosure that English today words have not been performing properly at all whatsoever. Like, I told one of my coworkers, I'm like, I spoke better Spanish today, more fluent Spanish to my other coworkers than I've spoken English to like customers and to you guys, and that's really sad. But yeah, so I do apologize for if that happening. It's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. Anyway, she lands a spot on a social media TV series. So like once a week she goes on YouTube, does a live thing for 24 hours, and then it gets uploaded, and like she gets followers and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, though, her mother was the first victim of a serial killer of the book called Mad Guy Man, and he starts his killing spree again when she tries to call him out in her videos. Now, this book, I honestly don't know what I was expecting, but I was really pleasantly surprised. Like, these chapters, I'm not even kidding, are like 1 to 2 pages. They remind me a lot of M.J. Arledge books. Like, his chapters are 1 to 5 pages. That's about it. They're very short. It makes the action go like that. And I just feel like I glide through a book when that happens, you know? Because I do read by chapter. I don't read by page anything. Reading by page stresses me out because I either want it to be on an even number or divisible of 5. So we don't look at the page numbers. But yeah, so I read by chapter. And yeah, it really went by quickly. I won't spoil anything for you guys. But I really enjoyed the ending. There were a few bits that I felt like should have been taken out, but at the same time, the chapters are so short. I felt like when you do this, you kind of have to divide the book up into like separate parts, more parts than you would like a, a book with big chapters. A book with big chapters. That's what I'm trying to say. English, yeah, I'm an English major. I have 2 minors. Yeah. Really liked it. I actually want to read another book by Vincent Ralph. It's like the Locked Door or something. I'll put it up on screen for here. I'll put it up on screen for you guys here. But yeah, I just saw that one in the bookstore. I'm like, there's another book by you, sir? And it like has the same short chapter thing. It is lower rated than this one. I think that one came out before this one. But like at the same time, I'm like, I enjoyed the writing style so much that like, I still want to read it. Poachers by Tom Franklin. This is a collection of short stories that I had to read for my special topics creative writing class. So we had to read a collection of short stories and then write a review about it. And I wanted one that was kind of like, gritty, kind of like where'd it go? Here it is. Like Knock 'Em Stiff by Donald Ray Pollock, which you guys know kind of let me down. But I want something like that, like kind of that southern, like everyone's miserable. This is possibly the worst town that like humans can set foot in, but like they just roll with it. That's right back there. But they just roll with it. So yeah, that's what I wanted. I did a lot of searching. If you guys follow me on Goodreads, you would have seen I added like at least 10 short story books onto my list. That was partly in due to A, deciding and just keeping that in check, and then B, like making sure that this one got here and that like if anything happened to it or like I read the first story, I'm like, I can't do it. I would have backups. If you've also followed me on my Goodreads, you would have seen that I deleted all 10 stories off of that, which I was interested in because after I read this one, I realized that short stories are just not my cup of tea. I've read this one. I've read Knock 'Em Stiff. Knock 'Em Stiff Knock 'Em Stiff was done by one of my favorite authors, and it got barely 3 stars. This one, I'm not even kidding when I say this, there were 2 memorable stories. I think there were 10 plus stories in here, 10 stories, something like that. There were 2 that I remembered. I just can't do these short plots and like characters that get introduced and new story. I can't do that. I need like a long, drawn out thing, I realized. And I don't think this is the author's fault. I think it's just part of me. Like the 2 stories that stood out to my mind the most were the longer stories. Like they were the long stories in the book, and they were the first one and then the last one. So I honestly just think that it's just me. I didn't, that being said though, and this is no blame towards the author, I didn't like this book. I just didn't like it. Short stories are not for me. I'm not going to be reading anymore. Horrid by Katrina Lino. I don't even know where to begin with this book because I was so excited to read it. I'm like, I've been waiting for this book forever, and I don't know why, because it got a big push when it was published, because this cover is absolutely beautiful. And then they had the same cover artist who is Tran Nguyen. I'll put their Instagram or like what I can find of them up there, and then the cover design by Karina Granda. Anyway, yeah, they did that one, and then they redid the cover for You Must Not Miss, which I'll also put up on screen. And they're beautiful covers. Like look at this. There's no denying that this is beautiful. It looks very painterly. It's very pretty. I like it. I was so excited for it. I remember when it first came out, I was like, yeah. And then it just disappeared, and I forgot that it existed. And like, it's kind of like gone on and off of my Goodreads playlist, but I can't tell you why to be exactly. Maybe something to do with the rating. I think it's at like a 3.64 rating. And like when I first started it, I'm like, no, I'm really gonna like this. Like this seems really, really cool. And this isn't even a spoiler, but like reading other reviews, it surprised a lot of people, and it surprised me too. So like if you want to read this book, and even after what I'm about to say you still want to read it, I think that you should know this going into it. This is not just a mystery thriller. This is a supernatural thriller. Like that doesn't it's not, they don't even make it like prevalent in here. It's just like a little girl's bedroom left untouched for years and not quite as empty of inhabitants as it appears. I guess in reading it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a ghost. But when I first read that, I'm like, oh, that just means it's like the boy situation or something like that, where like the girl's living in the walls, or she was like a prisoner in that room for a while or something. And it was the ghost. It was a ghost. I'm not gonna tell you who, what, when, why, how, whatever. It was a ghost though. And I'm not kidding when I say this. The ghost probably appeared no sooner than this part. This is the end of the book, by the way. Like this is, like that's when it's appeared, and then that's where you read. So all of this is set up for that ghost. And like, I'm gonna sound a bit contradictory when I say this because I know you guys are like, but Molly, you really like slow burners. You love the books that take their time. And yeah, I do. That's my dog. If you can hear him, I'm so sorry. He's playing with the cat. Yeah, I do. I love slow burners. I love books that take their time. But this one, I read the same conversations over and over and over and over again, and no character felt like they were in a rush to discover anything. Like the main character, Jane, first off, Jane is the main character. Her mom's name is Ruth, and I don't know why this was stylistically chosen, but the author barely calls Ruth the mom. It's Jane and Ruth walk down the hallway, even though it's from a third perspective point of view of Jane, so she should be like, you know, Ruth or Jane's mom walked down the hallway with her, but they never called her mom. They always called her Ruth. Katrina always called her Ruth. And it got very confusing. Like, I'm not even kidding. Towards the end of the book, I'm like, which one is Jane and which one is Ruth? And this is being like, I'm not trying to like dish this author's hard work at all, but the characters were so just one-dimensional that like I couldn't tell who was who. Like even when I was nearing the end of the book, I'm like, wait, which one is which now? I'm sorry, whose friend is this? Is that a mom? I just couldn't. But anyway, back to the ramble. Jane, I completely forgot the ramble, didn't I? Oh yeah, well Jane, she's forced to move to this new town after her father dies. And like she has these like growing suspicions about like the house that they're living in, which is her mom's old house. And she's like, somebody's not right here, what happened here? And she just like, she'll ask her mom something, like, what happened here? You know, I think someone just broke into the house. Why are there people breaking into the house? And the mom's like, I'm tired, I don't want to talk about it. And Jane's just like, okay. And just leaves it at that. I'm like, sweetie, your mom is clearly hiding something. If you want to know, ask. Ask until it gets tiring. You know, don't just be like, okay, yes ma'am, going upstairs, you know. You can't just do that. Like, and the same thing happened over and over and over again, and she would just get tiny little tidbits of info, and just be satisfied with that. But like those tidbits of info wouldn't really do anything until she got the next little tidbit of info, and then she's like, oh my gosh. But it wasn't even like it was a puzzle, like it wasn't like a mystery where like you get pieces of info and you can piece them together. It's like no clues are being given to me whatsoever. So all I know is A, there's no hint at B, I'm told B. There's no hint at C, I'm told C. There's no hint at D, I'm told D. And that's what it felt like reading this book. And I was just, it wasn't slow per se. I really, like the writing isn't bad. Like I didn't feel myself dragging or anything. It was just the plot and the characters that were so slow and like, I'm not going to be reading another book from this author with all due respect. It just, and the one that I wanted to read, You Must Not Miss, is rated even lower than this one. It's at like a 4.3. So I'm not going to do it. But yeah, I would have liked a bit more hints into it being a ghost story or supernatural story. But there weren't. It was just like a few noises. That was it. Until like the last bit of the book, and like the ending was very obtuse. I don't even know if that's the right word for this. It's very strange. It comes out of nowhere, and you just like I finished it. I literally like turned the page and saw I was done. I was like, I feel like I'm missing a page, even though I know I'm not. Like that's just how like suddenly it ended. I'm like, what did the character like learn exactly? What did they go through? They didn't go through anything, to be honest. I don't know. And then I read 2 plays this month. Both of them were for my classes, but for separate classes. So we have Crimes of the Heart by Beth Henley. This one is for my acting class. I had to like find a monologue in a play, and I chose this one. My monologue is over the character Babe, who shot her abusive husband, only in the stomach, didn't kill him or anything, but basically the entire play is just kind of figuring out, because it's three sisters reuniting, so the entire play is kind of figuring out why she did it, what's happening with the other sisters, how has this affected them, what's going to happen to them, talking about their mom who passed away when they were young, by her own doing, if that makes any sense. I don't think I can say that word on YouTube, but by her own doing. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. I give this a 4. I gave this play 4 stars. I might even bump it up to 5. I think it's sitting like at a 4.5 right now. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Love my monologue. So, Water by the Spoonful by Algier Houdis. This one I actually really like. This one deals with addiction and like the different, I don't know, sides of it. Like who's doing it, who it affects, how it affects, who that affects, that kind of stuff. Like people doing it now, people who have been clean for 10 years, people who are children of the users and stuff like that. So it is a very heavy subject matter, even though there are a few scenes that use comedy to lighten it up. I had to read this for my script analysis class, and I actually really enjoyed it. I actually got to direct a scene in that class. Everyone chose very similar scenes. Yeah, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah, it deals with, those scenes are very well done, and there's a little bit of comedy sprinkled into it to kind of like lighten it out. I actually really enjoyed this play. I give it 4 stars. Yeah, I kind of want to see it like in the actual like production way, like actually being acted out. I might be able to just find it on YouTube because YouTube is rich with bootleggers and plays. You didn't hear it from me. And then this is just a little tidbit. I'm not going to review this or anything because it's a daily devotion, but it's once a day, every day for a woman of courage. So 365 days. It took me to read this because you read a page a day, and I marked out I marked the passages that I liked in here. So yeah, that was really fun. I got another one. So yeah, just a little update. And now we're gonna move on to the TBR section for April. This is gonna be a pretty short section. Finals are coming up, so I don't think I'll have that much time to really read that much, but I will do my best, I promise. So first off we have Titus Andronicus by Shakespeare. This one was actually, it wasn't even recommended to me, it was mentioned in class in passing about how bad this is. And I knew that I immediately had to read it. So basically, the without going into plot or anything just yet, this is said to be one of Shakespeare's worst plays. I think my classmate described it as if the president, like the U.S. president, married Queen Elizabeth. Like that's what's happening politically in this in this story. And like I've read some of it so far, and right now it's like the Emperor of Rome or the King of Rome is marrying an emperor of someplace else. I have no idea. But basically that's what happens politically. And the main draw of this book, and why a lot of people read this book, is because it has cannibalism. I know, it's so unexpected by like a Shakespeare play to have that, but basically, 2 brothers, for political gain and revenge, and served as pies to like their like, brothers and sisters and like friends and family. Yeah. So basically, the thing behind Titus Andronicus that is so controversial, it's not that. It's if Shakespeare actually wrote this play. Like, a lot of scholars don't believe that he wrote this play, And then people are like, nah, I think he did. I think it was just in his earlier work. I mean, I'll believe that Shakespeare wrote this play. I haven't done research into it or anything like that, so I can't say for sure. But like every author has to start somewhere, even Shakespeare. Um, like if you look at his plays, Romeo and Juliet is terrible. Let's just be honest here, it's terrible. Like it has so many tropes and just like, oh no, I was a second too late kind of stuff. Whereas you look at Hamlet or Julius Caesar, some of his later tragedies, there's so much more well developed. The plot is there, the characters are there, the everything is there. It's amazing. So like I don't completely rule out that he wrote this. It's just very interesting to think the same guy who wrote Hamlet, Julius Caesar, Othello, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth wrote this as well. And then this also pairs with Timon of Athens. This is actually another very poorly rated play. I can't even tell you what it's about. Like I've read the synopsis, I just forget what the synopsis is about. But yeah, it's not good. Like this one is rated lower than Titus. That's where we lie right there. And like Titus, like people rate it higher sometimes. You're like, oh, it's funny, you know. But this one, there's like, no, it's just not good. But Titus Andronicus is so hard to find by itself for a reasonable price. Like typically, I like to get like the same like I don't know brand books. So like this one, Othello, and Hamlet. You can see these are all by Signet Classic, right? And they sell for $5 in the U.S. This one sells for $6. I didn't spend $6 on it. I spent like $15 because I had to order it off Amazon because no bookstore had it. Like when I went to like the other sellers like Thrift Books, Book Depository, $30 for just Titus Andronicus. Like I had to go to the ends of the world to find this book because I really wanted to read it. And like I couldn't even find it by itself. Like they had to pair it off with another book because it's that unpopular that they can't. And I could be wrong when I say this, but I'm pretty sure it's that unpopular that they can't even sell it by itself. They have to pair it up with another unpopular tragedy to try and get sales for both of them. I'm not complaining though. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I get to meet both of these. Right now I'm in Act 2, so I'm not too far ahead. I've read about that much of it, so I have a bit to go. These are shorter than like Hamlet or anything like that, so look forward to that. I know I said these would be short. I lied, didn't I? I think I did. I'm sorry. And then we have House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. This one I recently bought because I saw it and I'm like, that came out on paperback? You don't say. And I had to have it because there was only like one copy. I'm like, no, it's mine. I've waited like 2 years for this thing to come out. It's fine. This cover is absolutely beautiful. Oh my god, look at it. Not only that, but check out like the chapter. It's so pretty. And then it's like that perfect like book floppiness that you want your book to. It's just best time of my life. I could do this all day. Anyway. This book is about a girl named Iris, and she has two older sisters, and when they were younger in this town, they disappeared, and they showed back up, and they had black eyes and silver hair, and they didn't remember things, so I'm 99.99999% sure this does deal with the supernatural, unlike horror. This one does deal with supernatural. I know that right off the bat. I'm okay with that. So one of their sisters, named Gray, she goes missing, and the other sisters, Iris and Vivi, are left with finding her. But as they try to do so, their past of like when they disappeared starts to come up. So this is very, 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 very enticing to me, and I know that I have way too many books on my TBR list to be buying new ones. By the way, that's new. I got it for free though from Thrift Books, so it's okay. I didn't spend any money, but yeah, I ordered another one. But yeah, but like I saw this, I'm like, I need to have it. I really want to read it, and like I should have read The Vanishing Stairs, started that one because that one's been on my TBR the longest. And I was like, no, I want to read this one. I kind of want to redo a Ford, if we're being honest here. I've heard very good things about this one. It's sitting at over 4 stars in Goodreads. The cover is just beautiful. And then honestly, I don't know what else I'll be reading. I have no idea what I'll be doing in terms of class for you guys, but obviously that'll be posted on my Goodreads. And I wish I could show you what I wanted to do or show you like my newer books, but I can't because stuck. That's how well I have them pried in here, that they're like a solid mass now, just one entity, like the thing, and it's great. It kind of scares me though. I feel like they're just gonna make my bookshelf explode, but that's okay. But yeah, we're not gonna touch that, we're not gonna move it, we're barely gonna look at it, it'll be fine. Unfortunately, I'm not in a fantasy mood still. I think I'm kind of getting there because like I can kind of see myself transitioning into supernatural thriller and mystery as opposed to straight up mystery thriller, which will most likely lead me into either fantasy mystery or fantasy. So we have that going for us. It'll happen one day. It'll happen one day. Yeah, that is basically it for this book wrap up and book TBR. Again, I do sincerely apologize for the long gap. I've just been like, not terribly so, but like in a rut where I'm just like, it's like that point in the semester where it's like, I just want to do my homework, go to work, and then go to bed. Like, I don't want to do anything else. Like, anything else is just going to kill me. It's just going to kill me, simply. But yeah, no, I think I'm getting back into the vibe of making videos for you guys as well. I got a comment today. I'm not going to put it up or anything because I don't know if they want me to mention them. But it was very sweet. It was on my last video. It actually kind of motivated me to make this video for you guys, so I really do enjoy that comment. It does mean a lot to me. I love it when you guys comment. I love interacting with you guys, or if you just like watching and not liking or subscribing or commenting, that's fine too. That's what YouTube is here for. But yeah, so yeah, I do apologize for that. Hopefully I'll get back into the groove of making videos because it is fun. I think that's about all I gotta say. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me if you follow me on all my other social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and my reading platforms. Those will be listed down in the description below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!